Hi guys, welcome back to the guest house. My name is Sharon and this is the guest house. Today we are doing a little maintenance on the propane area of the guest house. You can see that the cowling we usually have that covers the propane tanks is gone. The propane tanks have been removed. We're going to work on the hoses. These are the original hoses that came with the guest house. And one of the things that we noticed when we would lift the lid to the cowling that covered the tanks, there'd be a slight smell of propane. And I'm thinking that's not a good thing. So we're thinking maybe these hoses might have a leak, the fittings might have a leak. And since they're sort of that old school rubber, they might be ready for an upgrade. So we're going to replace these hoses today and clean out this area. And the new hoses will be much better. And I'll show you that in a minute. So the first thing that I'm going to do today is I'm going to replace these hoses. And we're going to replace them with these lovely new braided hoses. They also, 2 in a pack, $26. I'll put a link down in the bottom. It also comes with the tape, so basically everything you need to be able to replace these hoses. The other good thing about these new hoses that the old ones don't have is these have a gauge on them that shows you how much propane you have left in each tank. So each hose has the gauge. We had looked at other tank gauges. Some are very newfangled where you put it underneath the tank and it's Bluetooth and it gives you all kinds of fancy information about your tank. But we found that those types of gauges, the batteries wear out on them really quick, and then you have to lift up the tank, change the batteries, put the sensor back, put the tank back on it. That just seemed like a ridiculous amount of work for something that should be really simple. So an old-fashioned gauge, we think, is the best choice. So the first thing, again, we're going to do, and by we I mean me, I'm going to replace these hoses, and then after that we're just going to clean this area up a little bit before we put the tanks back on. So let's get this started. I have a 9/16. I'm going to take this one off first. It's a little snug, which is the way it should be. All right. Once you get it loosened, you should be able to just use your fingers to take it off. So there's the old one. And we're going to set that aside. And we're going to get one of these new ones. The new ones come with this little cap. We don't need the cap anymore, so we're just going to get rid of that. And we're going to put a couple of rounds of this tape on this. And the stuff is kind of squishy, you'll see. And it just tears really easily, so you can just wrap it around. The purpose of this is to create a really good seal. I hope you can see this. And it's not sticky, so don't expect that it's going to be sticky. But you just kind of wrap it around a few times, and it'll sink right into the threads. Whoops. And then you can just tear it off. Right? And then just kind of press it. Press, 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 press. And then you're ready to go. So there's that. I'll go retrieve that tape later. So let's go ahead and screw this in. Wrench. It's going to be snug. All right. First one done. Okay, let's do the second one. You can grunt if you need to. Feel free. All right. There we go. All right, that one down. And again, don't need that anymore. And I'm gonna break off this tape a little cleaner. And I'm gonna wrap it. It's definitely a two-hand job. Okay. If there's any plumbers watching, don't laugh at me too hard. There we go. All right. Press it in there. Press it in there, press it in there. And let's screw this back on. All right, they are both now installed. Don't they look nice? Those are really nice. I can't wait. And the gauge is going to be so helpful. It's a game changer. So now that I've replaced these, we're ready to put the tanks back on, hook the tanks up, test them, make sure there's no leaks anywhere, make sure that the gauges work properly. But before we get there, I wanted to mention one of the things that we noticed is that the jack tends to rub on the cowling that covers the tanks. So we put a little piece of felt here so that, you know, going down the road when it's kind of jiggling back and forth, it'll just rub on the felt instead of rubbing plastic to metal. So we're thinking that that'll help prevent the cowling from getting damaged. Okay, well, we're finished. I tested the gauges to make sure that they were working, tested to make sure there were no leaks, and Barry helped me put the cowling back on because it's a super tight fit and it definitely took more than just me. But as you can see, the gauges are working wonderfully. Now I know how much propane I have in our tanks, and I'm extremely happy about this very low-tech improvement. So one note, the new braided hoses are slightly longer than the ones that Airstream fits the unit with. I think Airstream fits it with I think they're 12-inch rubber. These are 15-inch, not a real big deal. The hose just kind of a little extra hose. I will put a link to these hoses in the comments below. If you have any questions or if you have done any really simple low-tech mods to your propane situation, let us know in the comments. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, how about subscribing? That'd be great. And how about hit the bell? If you hit the bell, you'll get a notification that our next video is out and you get to watch it right away. And that'd be awesome. It'd be awesome for us. It'd be awesome for you. And as always, thanks for being our guest.